Um, so what I'm going to do is talk to you about one of our two evidence-based programs that the New Hampshire Falls Risk Reduction Task Force is promoting and collaborating with partners to disseminate around the state of New Hampshire. And it's called Tai Chi Quan Moving for Better Balance. So there should be time after this sort of a brief summary of it all for questions and hopefully a little audio. Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance, formerly known as Tai Chi Moving for Better Balance, is a research-based program designed for older adults and adults with movement disorders. It was developed by Dr. Fuzhong Li, who's a senior research scientist at Oregon Research Institute in Eugene, Oregon. And the training goals are to improve strength, balance, mobility, and functional activities, and also to decrease fear of falling and risk for falls. So Dr. Li has published extensively, really since about 2000 or probably even before that. But this is just a couple of studies that I wanted to highlight. And the first one was published in the Journal of Gerontology in 2005. And it was a randomized controlled trial where he looked at 256 older adults that were community dwelling that were physically inactive. And people were randomized to either participating in the Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance program 3 times a week, or to a control group, which was just gentle stretching exercises. The primary outcome was falls, but he also had several balance measures that he was looking at as well. And what he found was the risk for multiple falls was 55% less in the Tai Chi Chuan group than the control group. And the Tai Chi Chuan group improved in all balance measures, and these included tests like the Berg Balance Scale, the Dynamic Gait Index, single leg stance, and a fear of falling index as well. And then in 2012, he published, sorry, that's not on the screen, it's in there, but anyway, in 2012, he published a study in the New England Journal of Medicine looking specifically at individuals with Parkinson's disease. And again, this was a randomized control trial. There was one group of Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance, one group of gentle stretching exercise, and another group of strengthening exercise that was moderate intensity strengthening. And these individuals participated twice a week for 24 weeks. And he found that the Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance group had 67% fewer falls than the stretching group, and at 3 months post-intervention had fewer falls than either the strengthening or the stretching group. And as Dr. Ellis mentioned this morning, the newest studies really looking at combining high-intensity strengthening and balance exercise for potentially decreasing falls in people with Parkinson's is really exciting. He also looked at some balance measures here as well, and including, again, the functional reach test and timed up and go test, and also the limits of stability test on the Balance Master, which looks at how far an individual can reach away from midline. And the Tai Chi Chuan group improved more on the limits of stability than either of the other two groups, so which has a big impact in terms of function as we think about somebody's ability to reach out and for things during activities. So why did the New Hampshire Falls Task Force choose this program as one of the programs we wanted to promote? So it is on the Administration on Aging's Title 3D highest tier program list. It's quite a mouthful, but it's a list that the Administration on Aging has put out that are evidence-based programs that have some community translational studies that have shown to improve health in older adults. So there are a few community-based Tai Chi programs out there. Some of you may be involved with some of them. There's another one, the Arthritis Foundation Tai Chi program, the Paul Lamb program. That's also on the Title 3D list and has definite some health benefits, showing some decreased pain in people with arthritis and improved general health. And then Tai Chi Fundamentals is another popular program you may have heard about. But the Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance is the only community-based program that's been shown to reduce falls in older adults. So that's one of our big reasons for choosing this program. So what makes this particular Tai Chi program so different than traditional Tai Chi? There are two major components. One is the core routine, which is a set of Yang-style based Tai Chi Chuan forms. It's 8 forms derived from the 24-form simplified Yang-style Tai Chi. For those of you who are, we have at least one Tai Chi professional in the audience. For those who are Tai Chi professionals, of which I am not, so, but I've learned more about traditional Tai Chi through this. But instead of doing the forms specifically as they're designed, he's added in some practice variations. And these practice variations include things like you might do a form and then in between the forms you add different steppings and changing direction. Or you might narrow your base of support instead of having a wide base of support. Adding cognitive challenges. So we might say, do as I say, not as I do. So we might do one thing and say another and have them do what we're saying. Or change up the order that we do the forms. So there's a lot of cognitive challenge as well. And Dr. Lee has also published a pilot study in 2014 that looked at cognition, and he had, I think it was 40 people with mild cognitive impairment, and they showed an improvement on their mini mental status exam after 14 weeks of this program, as well as physical function improvement. So. And then there's also a set of subroutine exercises called mini therapeutic movements. And these movements focus on the integration of Tai Chi Chuan and the therapeutic training for balance and mobility. And we had our first training a few years ago. I'm going to talk about that, but Lisa Ellis, who's in the audience, he was a PT at the Elliott, and I were helpers, just to kind of like be gophers for Dr. Lee when he did the training. And as he was going through these things, we were like practically jumping out of our seats with excitement because it was really things that we do in physical therapy to train for balance. Yeah, I know. Lisa just went like this. That we were doing vestibular training, somatosensory training. We do things with eyes closed. We do things, with quick head movements. We do sit to stand strengthening. So it really incorporates the benefits of some balance and mobility training along with the benefits of Tai Chi or Tai Chi Chuan. So just to specifically highlight the differences, so, and again, total disclaimer, I knew nothing about Tai Chi myself until I was trained for this course, so I'm not a Tai Chi professional at all, but from what I've learned through Dr. Lee and Lin Lin, our trainers, that conventional Tai Chi, your movements are always within your base of support and pretty routinely right in the midline of your base of support, which makes sense if we think about that Tai Chi originated as a martial arts. So it makes sense from a self-defense standpoint, and that you want to have your maximum stability point. And then it evolved into performance-based art, and again, you can judge somebody depending on where their weight is. But Tai Chi Chuan works on maximizing their center of gravity around the limits of their base of support. And that's where it applies perhaps more toward functional activities. So, if we're going to step and reach something out of a cabinet, we're not going to do this, right? What are we going to do? We're going to do this. And so if we train somebody, again, we talked about this morning, training specificity in the way people are going to move and challenging those different components of balance, it kind of makes sense that it can improve the balance. I just want to do a quick demo. This is somewhat like traditional Tai Chi. Ben's probably going to tell me this isn't really, but so somewhat like traditional Tai Chi of a movement called single whip. So single whip, you start like this. This is more like a traditional mode. Okay, am I close? Thank you. Now this is what Tai Chi this is what Tai Chi Chuan moving for better balance would look like. Same form, but with the variations. So we start with our ball. We start with putting ourselves a little off balance back. We're still with our single whip, and then we take a quick step. And then we're going to still do our slow turn. We're still working on our slow controlled balance, working on strengthening. But then as we get to the end, we're going to give ourselves a push to knock ourselves off balance. And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to be slow and controlled again. And then as we come back, we're going to give ourselves another push and then catch our balance. So that's kind of an example of the difference in how it might look. Another major difference, for conventional Tai Chi, it uses primarily anticipatory control. So you are anticipating what movement you're going to do in response to either what's, in self-defense, what's coming at you, or in functional activities, you know what you want to do, so you're going to plan your movements on how you're going to do it. So that's anticipatory motor control. And Tai Chi Chuan uses a combination of that with reactive motor control, or compensatory motor control. So this would be in daily activities similar to if somebody bumps you and you need to catch your balance, or if you were to slip on something or trip on something. You're not planning how to correct your movement, you just have to react to it and be able to correct it. And so this is accomplished in the program through self-perturbation. So we might be holding the ball and then we're getting to our end limits and then we're going to give ourselves a little push, and we have to either incorporate our hip strategy or push ourselves further, so we have to step to catch our balance. The other thing, conventional Tai Chi tends to be performed asymmetrically to one side and then something else to the other, where this is always consistent, or most always, unless we add a practice variation, equal bilaterally. So there's also a great cost benefit of Tai Chi Chuan, moving for better balance. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Huge return on investment. So the net benefit is over $500 annually from the net benefit of averting direct medical costs from a fall. This is a picture, by the way, of Lin Choi, who is a trainer, authorized trainer from ORI here in New Hampshire, leading a group of legislators and the public in front of the New Hampshire State House on Falls Awareness Day a couple years ago, which happened to coincide on a day when Joe Biden was visiting, because it was during the election. So it was quite an exciting day, with Secret Service maybe participating as well. We don't know. There were lots of people on the State House lawn. So the New Hampshire Falls Task Force, that I said, is promoting moving for better balance throughout the state. There are some programs. We're collecting data, so we're collecting pre and post balance measures and questionnaires on people who are doing the program, which Joanne is going to talk to you much more in depth about in a few minutes. We've held 3 trainings so far, where Dr. Lee, the developer of the program, has come here, and Lin Choi has also led some trainings. And we've done this collaborating with partners, the Northern New England Area Education Center, and more recently the Foundation for Healthy Communities. Dr. Lee is developing a new component called the healthcare module, and it involves incorporating the Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance program into the healthcare clinic. So occupational therapists, physical therapists, or other individuals who are working with people one-on-one, incorporating this into their program. And it has really a couple benefits. One is that the type of exercise really works to help improve balance, but also people then who are going to transition into the community-based program have some of this knowledge already in it, and if you can connect with a community-based program, it just helps them to make that transition after they're discharged from physical therapy and exercising in the community. We were the first in the country to do this training last September. So we've had a lot of these trainings, or a few trainings. These are the current active programs right now in the state. So we have a program in Plymouth, Concord, Lebanon, and then a few on the seacoast. So we really need to fill up this map, right? We need to fill it up a lot more to reach everybody in New Hampshire. We do have some additional people trained that we're working with to try to help implement programs in additional areas. And another thing that's going on in New Hampshire to help with this is the Foundation for Healthy Communities, which we have Rebecca Skye here from the foundation, who's a project manager, has received a grant last September, a 2-year Administration on Aging grant, to help with dissemination and sustainability of this program, along with Matter of Balance, which Kellyanne's going to talk about in a few minutes. This grant, however, focuses on Coos County and Carroll County, because those were 2 counties where they had, in the state we looked at, there were higher than average incidents of emergency room visits and hospitalizations. And then in Nashua, because Hillsborough County is our most populated county, and there were only 2 programs at the time of the grant. So, but as I said, the state is, we're committed to working with this around the whole state over the however many years that will be. But we are having additional training for this for instructors September 17th and 18th this year. It will be in Concord. So again, the focus has to be on those counties, but there should be, I can't imagine there wouldn't be, extra space for additional trainers if you don't live in that area. So if either you're interested in the training or you work with somebody who would be interested in the training, after this talk I'm going to pass around this paper who, if you just want to put your contact information, we'll just like spread it around the room. People can get to all the tables. Just let us know and we'll get you more information as it gets closer to the time. So we do run the program at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. As Deb said, I'm a trained instructor, as is Maggie Saraceno, who's here, who works in our department as well. She and I co-teach the class. She teaches 1 day a week, and I teach 1 day a week. And we've had a class. We were trained in 2013, so we've had a class going for 1.5 years now. And then every 3 months we have a beginner class, so people can learn the basics and then roll into the ongoing class. And you know, I just can't say enough good about this program. It's amazing to see the people still continuing to progress and get better over time, and just they love the program. And it's really, people come in with stories that it warms your heart. You know, they'll come in and say, just unsolicited, you know, the other day I reached back for this towel in the kitchen and it went right into repulse monkey. I didn't even realize I was going to do it, and I didn't fall, and I caught my balance, and we're like, oh, this is so awesome. You know, it just has made such a difference. And like we were talked about earlier, we you know, a lot of them after the class get together for coffee down at the cafeteria and chat. You know, they formed friendships in the class as well. So it's basically considered a community service in our institution, although we do charge. So we charge $100 for 12 weeks. And like I said, it's an hour session twice a week. If you do want to do the program, there's no mandate either from the program nationally or from the New Hampshire Task Force for charging. You can charge as much as you need to. You can charge nothing if you have a, you know, somehow are supported so that you don't need to charge, so there's no requirement. So currently the program is being disseminated in several states throughout the country, including Minnesota, Maryland, Alaska, Washington, New Hampshire, with the Indian Health Service in the Southwest, Oregon, and Connecticut. Really, the only prerequisite is 1 to 2 years experience teaching exercise to older adults, and it's a recommendation. No experience needed for Tai Chi prior to this, but then there is a 2-day required training course to be an instructor for the program, and then 3 one-day refreshers, or sort of learn, you know, kind of reinforcing how to do the program, is recommended within the first 6 months of the training. I said we are committed to the current instructors who've been trained to help implement programs and help with sustainability, and to help train new instructors around the state. So these are just a few websites that you can go to for a little more information. The tjqmbb.org is the National Tai Chi Chuan Moving for Better Balance website. There's a lot of great information on that. Our New Hampshire Falls Task Force website, nhfallstaskforce.org, and then the Oregon Research Institute website, ori.org, has information about ORI, of course, and even more information about Dr. Lee and the additional studies that he's done and publications that he's had. And I think Laura said earlier, we'll make sure we have these accessible, right, the presentation, so you'll have all this information.
Email it out.
Email it out, okay. So that is what I have for the presentation about it. So I guess first, does anybody have any questions? Yeah, well, questions in a couple minutes, and then if we have any questions. Anyone? You don't have questions, you're going to do Tai Chi. No questions. All right. All right, so let's everybody stand up. If you can, be careful if you have trouble with balance. All right. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to hold the ball. That's the basis for everything. So you want to have a comfortable step, comfortable stance, feet hip distance or so apart. Want to make sure everybody's knees are relaxed. So first tighten your knees. Tighten your quads, stiff knees, and now let your quads go. Soft knees. Let's shrug your shoulders, and now let them drop. Soft shoulders. This is the position we want to stay in. Soft knees, relaxed shoulders. Now I want to have everybody, I'm facing you, so I'm going to do my best to say the opposite hand as you, so do as I say, not as I do. I want everybody to have their right hand up, left hand here. I want you to imagine that you're holding a ball, like a beach ball. Your hands relaxed on the top, hands relaxed on the bottom, but try to imagine, try to feel a ball between your hands. Everything we do comes back to the ball. All right, first thing we're going to do is just move the ball. So let's just do our hands first. So we're going to hold the ball and then drop the ball in front of you and then pick the ball back up. So now your left hand's on top. So we switched. And then let's drop it again and we'll go back to the right. We're moving the ball. That's form one, right? Now let's add a little bit of challenge to it. So I want everybody to shift their weight onto their right foot and then back onto their right heel. All right, so you feel your weight maybe starting to lose a little balance, and then come back and let's drop the ball, pick it back up, shift your weight onto the left and back, and come back. And hold. So this is preloading. We're going to go back, and now I want you to go almost to where you might lose your balance, and then we're going to take a quick step out with your right foot. Now quick step right out to the side, catch your balance. Okay? Sorry, left. Didn't do so well. And then drop, and then pick it back up on the left. All right? And now let's shift your weight. Let's preload onto the left. So back, side, almost going to lose your balance, and then your right foot, quick step out, quick step out. Now we've got our balance. Drop it, pull it back up, push yourself over a little bit, and hold. Okay? So that's form one, moving the ball. Let's do one more form. We're going to do form two, part wild horse's mane. All right? So what we're going to do is a quick little preload again. So this time our step, though, is going to be a little bit forward and diagonal, landing with your heel first. So let's go back, back, and with your left foot, quick step forward. And now I want everybody to breathe out. Now we're going to part the wild horse's mane. As we come across, you're going to bring your left hand under, and your right hand is going to be down at your hip. Okay, let's bring our hands back to the ball. And as you're moving, I want you to breathe in a little bit, and we're going to turn our trunk as we move our hands. So let's part the wild horse's mane, breathe in. Now let's breathe out. Feel when you breathe out, you're sinking right into the floor. You want to feel your feet right into the floor. I want you to tighten your right hip, tighten those gluteal muscles. Glutes in our class is a funny word. We all like to tighten our glutes. And now, when you push, I want you to push down from your hip as if you're pushing the ball of your foot right down through the floor. So then push, push, and then come back. Rock back. Now your left toes are up. Turn your toes to the front. Put that left foot down. We're going to move that ball back over to the left. So give yourself a little push. And then move it back to the right, and then we'll. So let's preload again. So preload. Onto the left, back, and this time with your right foot. Quick step forward. And breathe out. Now let's breathe in as we part the wild horse's mane to the right and turn. So breathe in and then breathe out. Good. So our trunk is turned. We're looking toward our right, over our right toes. I want you to tighten that left hip. And when you push, from your hip down, push right down into the floor and give yourself a good push, push. And then rock back. Left toes are up, pivot to the front, bring that ball back over, push yourself over. Okay, and now let's step right to the middle. Let's have everybody cross your hands, We're going to close. Let's bring our hands back. Weight to your heels, balls, and then give yourself a little tip at the hips. Little tip. And then squeeze those glutes now to take yourself back up. Tighten those glute muscles. Bring yourself back up and down. And nice job. You got it. Good. All right. So I'll be happy to talk to anybody later if anybody has questions as well.